Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. Welcome back to my home. Welcome back to Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. In today's video, I'm going to show you and teach you how you can grow your own turmeric at home all year round in a basic, simple, plastic, reusable container, guys. It's super easy and you can harvest turmeric, your own homegrown turmeric, all year long. For those of you looking for that online gardening channel that offers tips, tricks, easy yet proven gardening advice to take your home gardens to that next level. Don't go anywhere, guys. Stick around with me today. Start with going below this video and clicking the subscribe button. If you are enjoying the content of my garden videos, if you find my videos to be helpful, useful, informative in any way, click the bell icon as well. YouTube will send you notifications every single time I'll upload a new garden video. Now let's get gardening. Turmeric is actually a very easy and a simple crop to grow at home in a plastic basic container, guys, and you can have an abundant harvest of homegrown turmeric all year long that you can use to make your delicious, juicy, flavorful home cooked meals. In today's video, I'm going to take you step by step, give you very easy, basic, yet proven garden instructions on how to correctly plant turmeric in your own home in a plastic reusable container, how to correctly grow turmeric, how to take care of your turmeric plant while it's still growing, those rhizomes for you, as well as very quick, easy harvesting instructions for our turmeric rhizome. So without any further ado, let's get started. Turmeric is a crop that originated from Southeast Asia. Turmeric adds yellow to orange color to absolutely any dish that you make using turmeric. The flavors of this crop are most of the time associated with Indian cuisine. However, guys, turmeric is used widely all around the world. In fact, there are many countries that associate turmeric with medicinal agents, medicinal purposes. Many say that turmeric acts as a natural blood thinner. I can't vouch for that, guys, but before we try to use turmeric for any medicinal purposes, we should always consult with our doctor or physician first, especially if you're taking any additional medication for your health. Now, guys, turmeric is a crop that is grown asexually, meaning it is not grown from seed nor through any pollination method. Turmeric is grown through a rhizome. Here is what turmeric rhizome looks like. Here is an example of a larger size turmeric rhizome. So just like our potatoes, even our ginger and turmeric, those are grown through a rhizome. Now, so turmeric comes in multiple varieties. There are yellow turmeric varieties, orange turmeric varieties, such I have over here. You could see the orange pigmentation. There are also white turmeric varieties out there, guys. So the turmeric plant itself grows from these nodes, from these buds that you find scattered throughout the rhizome. This is those buds. This is exactly where we're going to grow our turmeric from, the foliage, the leaves. So the more of these buds your rhizome has, the larger turmeric harvest you're going to get in the long run. So again, as I just mentioned, turmeric grows from a rhizome, turmeric rhizome. Now, where can you get turmeric rhizome? Where can you access it? Very easy, guys. They're widely sold in supermarkets and grocery stores throughout the United States. I got this box of organic turmeric at my local supermarket. Most of the time, they are located right near our ginger rhizomes or in a specialty section. Now, if you are buying the turmeric rhizomes from a grocery store, I recommend getting the organic rhizomes. Why? Because they are not treated with growth inhibitors. They're not sprayed down with growth inhibitors. If you're not buying a prepackaged container like I have right over here that comes with multiple rhizomes in one, if you are buying it loose by pounds, then there are a few aspects which you need to consider prior to selecting the rhizome and purchasing it. First things first, you want to choose medium to larger sized rhizomes. So if you find a rhizome that's this tiny, I don't recommend purchasing it, as it's not going to have enough buds on it, and you're not going to get enough shoots from it. And again, guys, even though you plant the rhizome, there is never 100% guarantee that it will indeed sprout and grow. So now that you found a medium to large sized rhizome, what do you look for? You look for these buds, these bump looking growth on your rhizome. The more of these buds your rhizome will have, the more shoots you're going to have on your turmeric plant. Now, you want to make sure that the rhizomes are not too large either. You do not want to get a rhizome that's too big. Why? Because you're going to end up having to cut it into smaller segments. And I'm going to, in a minute, tell you that cutting process, talk about it, let you know exactly what you have to look out for and step-by-step instructions on what you would need to do if your rhizome is on the larger side and you have to cut it into smaller rhizome segments. If you ended up purchasing larger sized turmeric rhizome, you will need to cut it into smaller rhizome segments. Just because you got a larger sized rhizome, don't automatically assume that you're going to get a larger harvest. The sizing of the rhizome does not determine the harvest size. So what determines the harvest size? The amount of these buds or nodes on the rhizome. So when you are cutting the larger sized rhizome into segments, make sure that each segment which you will create will have at least 3 to 4 of these buds or nodes on it. I do not recommend planting a rhizome segment that will have less than 3 visible buds or nodes on it, as that lowers your germination rate. And you can wait for weeks and months at a time just to come to find out that you're not going to see any turmeric growth, any new turmeric shoots. So the rule is 3 to 4 nodes on each rhizome that you're planning to plant in your home in a container. So now that you divided your turmeric rhizome, let's just pretend, let's say that this is your new rhizome segment, which you have just cut from a larger turmeric rhizome. What is the next step? The next step, guys, is to wait. Yes, I said wait. Do not plant this new freshly cut segment right away. How long do you wait? Roughly 2 to 3 days. You leave the segment out in an open air, somewhere on your kitchen table, kitchen counter, coffee table, shelf, anywhere, just not in your refrigerator. You want to allow this cut, this open wound, which you just have made with a knife or scissors, to fully heal, to callus, to subberize is the proper term. Why? Because if you plant this segment right away, immediately, without allowing this wound to heal, you are asking for bacteria. You are inviting fungal bacteria over to that container. And your rhizome segments will have a higher chance of just simply rotting out, becoming infected, diseased, before it even sprouts and starts to grow for you. Also, guys, by letting it heal first, we are preventing insects and pests as well. The drier and the cleaner the rhizome is, which you are planting, the higher growing success rate you will have. Now that you picked out the perfect sized turmeric rhizome, what is the next step, guys? The next step is to pick out the correct pot or a container for growing our turmeric rhizomes. You can use a basic, simple, reusable plastic gardening container. You might have a few of those laying around from your previously purchased plants somewhere in your shed or in your garage. However, the container which you choose must, and I will say it again, must have plenty of drainage holes on the bottom. If there are not enough drainage holes, your turmeric rhizome will rot before it sprouts and grows. Now, what is the correct sizing of the container? You can grow turmeric in your own home in various sized containers. You could start with a smaller container, such as this one. Wait till your rhizome will sprout, start to show a first set of true leaves, and then you can transplant it into a larger size, such as a 3 or a 5-gallon container. Or you can right away plant your turmeric rhizomes into a larger sized plastic container from the get-go. I have this one, as you see, that I've been reusing. It's been sitting in my shed. It's from a perennial, which I have purchased a few years ago. Also, lots and lots of drainage holes. Now, if you are starting out with a smaller size container, say a 1-gallon container, for example, such as this one, how many turmeric rhizomes should you plant? You should only plant 1 turmeric rhizome per 1-gallon container. If you are planting your rhizomes right away in a larger sized plastic container, how many rhizomes can and should you plant then? I like to plant at least 3 rhizomes in a 3-gallon container. Why, you might ask? And let me tell you guys, by planting more than 1 rhizome in a 3-gallon size container, not only you're going to have a beautiful, attractive looking plant while it's growing with that beautiful green foliage. And by the way, many consider turmeric foliage to look like a banana plant foliage. In fact, many beginner gardeners can confuse a turmeric plant for a banana plant. That's how similar the coloring and the foliage shape look. So you're going to have a beautiful, attractive plant as it's growing, and those 3 to 4 rhizomes will start to compete below the soil surface. Now you guys might say, but competition for plants is not good. Most of the time, that is the case. Not in this instance, guys. So your multiple turmeric rhizomes will be competing for nutrients in that soil, which you will be using, that potting mix. Each of the rhizomes is going to want to grab as much nutrients, as much fertilizer as it can get. So the more it's going to grab, the larger and the juicier your turmeric rhizome will be. And that's exactly what you want to achieve. Now, what kind of potting mix should you use? Any basic organic potting mix. You don't even need to use organic if you don't want to or cannot get your hands on one. Any old plain potting mix will do the trick, guys. Today I will be planting my turmeric rhizomes in this organic potting mix. That's by back to the roots, and it's fortified with lots of healthy nutrients already. But in a few minutes, I will also talk about fertilization requirements for our turmeric rhizome plants. Now that we have our perfectly sized rhizome picked out, now that we have our correct container picked out, what is that next step? So today I'm going to be using a 3-gallon size plastic container right over here, guys. Simple, recyclable plastic container. What is the next step? The next step is to pre-fill our container with our potting mix. I'm going to be using Back to the Roots organic potting mix today. Make sure that whatever potting mix you're using, regardless of the brand, regardless of the variety. And no, guys, I am not marketing Back to the Roots. I do not work with them. I'm not associated with them. It just happens to be the bag that I have laying around in my garage. So now you have to make sure that the potting mix which you're using will be airy, fluffy, no lumps, no bumps, no clumps. Remember, our rhizome will need that room, that space, that freedom to spread out, to grow for us. So if you do find any clumps or lumps in your potting mix, break it down with your hands prior to placing it in the container. Now let's plant our turmeric rhizomes. Make sure that you fill up at least 85% of your container with potting mix prior to placing your rhizomes. The rule of thumb is our turmeric rhizomes only need to be planted no more than 1 inch below the soil surface. We do not want to bury them in too deep. Why? Because they will need that light source in order to sprout and to grow. Now that we positioned our turmeric rhizomes perfectly, again, I'm going to be growing 3 in this 3-gallon container. We're going to backfill. Again, the rule of thumb is no more than 1 inch. 1 inch of potting mix on top will be more than enough, guys. You want to gently tap the soil down. And that is all, guys. So the planting requirements are actually very similar to our ginger planting requirements. So here we are. Our rhizomes are planted. Now that we planted our turmeric rhizomes, what are the watering requirements, which are very, very crucial and important, guys? Turmeric does like to be watered thoroughly and well. However, turmeric does not like to sit in something we gardeners like to call wet feet. So what does that mean? That means that you should always water thoroughly. However, you should allow the soil, the top 2 inches of the soil, to dry out before you water your turmeric plant again. If your turmeric rhizome gets uncovered a little bit during the watering process, it's okay, guys. Cover it up with a little bit of the potting mix, not a big deal. I'm going to place my turmeric rhizomes, planted turmeric rhizomes, right next to my ginger rhizomes. Remember, guys, we planted this ginger rhizome together with you guys a few weeks ago. Actually, this was a store-bought ginger rhizome as well, and I just want to show you guys what is happening. Can you see all of these sprouts? My ginger rhizome has actually sprouted and began to grow. For those of you guys who are interested in seeing step-by-step instructions on how I plant and grow my ginger from a store-bought ginger rhizome, I still have that video available on my channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. And I'm going to link that video up above for those of you who are interested in growing your own ginger at home in a container from a cheap store-bought ginger root. Now let's talk about light requirements as well, guys, quickly. So turmeric is a tropical plant. It does require lots and lots of high light. So if you are growing your turmeric inside indoors like I will be, since now we are in the winter season, you need to place it in a spot or location that gets the most amount of high direct sunlight. I'm going to leave it right here in my green room, right next to my ginger plant. Another very, very important aspect to talk about, growing aspect, is temperature requirement. Our turmeric, again, is a tropical plant and it will not tolerate temperatures below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you are growing your turmeric outside and you know that the temperatures will dip, will go down below 50 degrees, you should bring in your container inside indoors, even if you have to bring it into your garage. You cannot allow your turmeric to be outside when the temperatures are below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, or the plant itself will suffer. Now, how do you know if you're over watering your turmeric plant? How do you know if there's just too much watering involved? Very easy and very simple to tell, guys. The leaves, the foliage of your turmeric plant will start to turn yellow, will start to brown and dry up. You're going to see the edges of your turmeric plant's foliage start to get brown. That is the first indication that you are absolutely overwatering your turmeric plants. So if you're seeing yellowing or browning of the foliage, cut down on the watering, guys. Super, super important, or you're going to rot out those rhizomes below the soil surface. Another very important growing aspect to talk about when growing our turmeric plants, turmeric rhizomes, is of course fertilization. When and how to properly fertilize our turmeric. I like to fertilize my turmeric every 2 weeks with a fertilizer that is high in nitrogen, especially in the very beginning of the growing stages. Why nitrogen high fertilizer? Because nitrogen is what is responsible for the lush green foliage growth. And in the beginning stages, in the beginning growing stages, that is exactly what you're going to see first. And that is why you're going to have a gorgeous looking plant inside your home. You can also use fish emulsion to fertilize your turmeric plant in the beginning stages of growth. I do have to warn you guys, fish emulsion will have that stinky, kind of like a fish oil smell to it, so not everybody likes it. However, if you're okay with the smell, fish emulsion does wonders for our turmeric plant. After you start to see that big green lush growth, stop with the nitrogen high fertilization. Now will be the time to switch to phosphorus. So remember our NPK fertilizer ratio. Every fertilizer which you will get in any garden center, any nursery, even a big box store, will always have 3 numbers on it. The N, the P, and the K ratio. So that middle number, the P, is the phosphorus. So whatever fertilizer you choose, whether it's organic or not, and I do prefer to use organic fertilizers, make sure that that middle number, the middle ratio will be the highest out of all 3 numbers. That phosphorus, that high component of phosphorus, is what's going to give you those huge, thick, large, juicy turmeric rhizomes at the very, very end. Last but definitely not least topic to talk about is the harvesting, which is exactly where we're growing our turmeric rhizomes. We wait and we wait to finally get to harvest our rhizomes. So when will that day come? Is it days? Is it weeks? Is it months? You will have to be patient, guys, on growing turmeric. The day of harvest will come around, but no sooner than at least 6 months after you planted them. 6 months or more. So how do you harvest? I like to cut off all of the green foliage off of my turmeric plant and just dig up that big chunk or clump of my turmeric rhizomes. Some try to salvage the plant, so they try to harvest half of it, keep the other half still growing. In my experience, this will not work, guys. You might be okay with that half of the remaining plant for a few days or so, a week or so. You will start to see it start to die out. So I always recommend just cutting off the foliage and harvesting it all together at one time. And then starting all over again by planting new turmeric rhizomes. And you can use some of those rhizomes which you harvested to plant them all over again, guys. This is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for joining here in my home in Long Island near Zone 7A. In today's video, I gave you step-by-step, easy yet proven gardening tips and instructions on how you can plant, grow, and harvest an abundant amount of turmeric all year long from growing it in a basic, cheap, simple plastic container. You will never ever have to buy a single turmeric rhizome from a supermarket again if you follow my easy yet proven gardening tips and tricks. For those of you who enjoyed the content of today's video, if you found today's video to be useful, helpful, informative in any way, show me that support, guys, by clicking thumbs up below. Leave your comments in the comment section as well. I read each and every single one of your comments, and I personally respond to each and every single one of you. Let me know, do you grow turmeric in your home, in a pot or a container? Let me know, have you had growing success, guys? Share some pictures with me of your turmeric plants. I would love to see that, guys. If you haven't yet subscribed to my gardening channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor, guys, don't wait any longer, guys. What are you waiting for? Super easy for you to do, super pleasing and rewarding to me. Just go below this video and click the subscribe button. If you are enjoying the content of my gardening videos, if you find my videos to be helpful and useful in your own home gardening, click the bell icon as well. You will get notifications every single time I upload a new gardening video. Stay healthy, happy, be well, each and every single one of you guys. And I know that yet another winter storm is on its way. So be safe and stay warm, guys. And happy gardening, guys. And I'll see you again in my new upcoming gardening videos. Bye, guys.